$500,000 sounds like a fortune. For many retirees, those savings don't last as long as they do. If you're planning to retire with $500,000, don't trust the balance until you've done the math. I'm Henry Whitmore, and I'm here to help you see the financial risks that many retirees don't recognize until it's too late. Retirement doesn't usually fail during the first 5 years. It fails 15 or 20 years later when the portfolio is smaller, healthcare costs are higher, and earning another paycheck is no longer realistic. That's why the question isn't whether $500,000 sounds like a lot. The question is whether it will still be enough when you're 85. A hard truth every future retiree needs to hear is that $500,000 isn't retirement. It's your future inventory. And inventory gets spent. Most people measure retirement by a balance. Professionals measure it by monthly income. That single difference separates comfort from crisis. Every dollar you withdraw today is a dollar that can never grow for you again. It stops compounding. It stops working. It simply disappears from your future. Social Security was never built to fund your retirement alone. It exists to supplement your income, not replace it. Right now, the average retired worker receives about $2,071 per month from Social Security. That's your starting point. It was never meant to be your entire plan. Now watch how that floor plays out for 3 different people. 3 neighbors retire with the exact same amount, $500,000 each. One requires $3,000 a month to maintain their life. Another requires $5,000 a month. The third requires $7,000 a month. Identical portfolios. Identical starting point. Completely different outcomes. The first neighbor may stretch that money for 30 years. The second will feel the pressure by their mid-70s. The third may exhaust their savings before their 80s even begin. This is what most retirement planning gets backwards. The size of your account means nothing without knowing your number. Your real number. The one you spend every single month, whether markets rise or fall. A balance is silent. Your monthly need is the only thing that speaks the truth about your future. And that's before one of the biggest retirement decisions even enters the picture. It has nothing to do with picking better investments. It has everything to do with one date on the calendar. The age you claim Social Security changes everything. One decision carries more weight than almost any investment choice you will ever make. It is not the stock you buy. It is not the fund you own. It is the age you claim Social Security. Many people spend decades chasing higher returns. They compare funds. They watch the market. Yet they overlook the one decision that permanently changes guaranteed lifetime income. Claim your retirement benefit at 62, and your monthly Social Security benefit can be up to 30% lower than if you had waited until your full retirement age. That reduction lasts for life. Every future payment reflects that decision. Wait until 70, and your monthly Social Security benefit can be up to 24% higher than your full retirement age benefit. That increase also lasts for life. It raises every check you receive for the rest of your retirement. Now, picture the same person living 2 different retirements. The same career, the same earnings record, the same $500,000 in savings. Only one decision changes. In the first retirement, benefits begin at 62. The monthly check is permanently smaller. More income must come from personal savings. The portfolio carries a heavier burden every year. In the second retirement, benefits begin at 70. The monthly check is permanently larger. Less pressure falls on savings. More of the portfolio remains invested and working. The difference is not just a percentage on paper. Over 20 years of retirement, it can add up to tens of thousands of dollars in lifetime income. Few investment decisions have that kind of lasting impact. Many retirees believe success depends on earning better returns. Experienced planners know that guaranteed lifetime income comes first. You're claiming age shapes every year that follows. Then comes another cost that quietly erodes retirement security. Almost every retiree notices it only after the money starts leaving their pocket. Healthcare quietly steals more than inflation. Retirement is not threatened by market declines alone. It is also drained by expenses that quietly grow every year. Healthcare leads that list. Most people notice higher grocery bills. They notice rising utility costs. Few notice the deductions taken before they ever touch their money. The standard Medicare Part B premium now stands at $202.90 per month. That amount is typically deducted from your Social Security benefit before the payment reaches your bank account. Every increase in your benefit is not entirely yours to keep. Part of it disappears automatically. That is why retirement feels tighter than many people expected. Your income may rise on paper. Your spending power often does not. Now, picture two retirees. They receive the same Social Security benefit. They retire with similar savings. Their plans look almost identical. The first stays relatively healthy. Routine medical care keeps expenses manageable. The retirement budget remains stable. The second develops a chronic medical condition. Doctor visits become more frequent. Prescriptions multiply. Medical bills become a permanent part of every month's budget. The gap between those two retirements widens almost immediately. This is one of the most overlooked risks in retirement. Healthcare keeps taking money whether the market is rising or falling. It never waits for better investment returns. It never pauses because your portfolio has a bad year. Successful retirees plan for healthcare before they need it. Everyone else pays for it after it arrives. Then comes another retirement rule that catches even experienced investors off guard. It decides when you must start taking money from your own retirement accounts, whether you need the income or not. The IRS decides when you withdraw money. Many people believe they control every retirement withdrawal. That is only true for a while. Eventually, the IRS steps into the picture. If most of your retirement savings sit in traditional retirement accounts, that account does not stay untouched forever. The government has a schedule, and that schedule ignores your plans. In 2026, required minimum distributions begin at age 73. Not when you need the money, not when it's convenient. On schedule by law. Once that age arrives, the IRS forces withdrawals from traditional retirement accounts. Every single year, whether markets are up or the timing is wrong. These withdrawals are not optional. They're also not tax-free. Every dollar withdrawn counts as taxable income the year you take it. This changes your tax bracket. It can push you into a higher one. It can increase what you owe, even if your spending stays exactly the same. This is why withdrawal order matters more than most retirees realize. Pulling from the wrong account in the wrong year at the wrong time can cost you thousands in unnecessary taxes. Professionals plan this years in advance. They decide which accounts to draw from first. They decide when to convert. They decide how to minimize the damage before the IRS makes the decision for them. Most people wait until 73 to think about this. By then, the options have already narrowed. The government does not ask permission. It simply enforces the deadline. Now let's examine one retirement rule that millions of Americans have heard for years. It sounds simple. It sounds reassuring. It has also given many retirees a false sense of security. The 4% rule. You have probably heard of the 4% rule. This rule isn't a retirement plan. It's just a withdrawal guideline, not a guarantee. It was never meant to be one. That rule assumes historical conditions. It does not account for the retirement you will actually live. Real retirements face bear markets. Real retirements face inflation. Real retirements face rising healthcare costs, taxes, and spending needs that shift every year. Apply that rule to $500,000, and you get roughly $20,000 a year. Less than $1,700 a month. Ask yourself one question. Is that enough after taxes, inflation, and healthcare? For most retirees, the answer arrives immediately. No, that does not make the 4% rule useless. It makes it a starting point, not a retirement plan. Rules of thumb cannot predict your expenses. They cannot predict market timing. They cannot predict how long you will live. A rule built for average conditions cannot protect you from an unpredictable retirement. The years leading into retirement matter more than any formula. The good news is this. You still have one advantage that can outweigh many of these risks. It has nothing to do with chasing better investments. It begins before you retire, because your last working years matter more than your first 30 combined. Many people believe retirement is determined at 65. Experienced planners know the outcome is often shaped long before then. Those final working years determine how much you save. This is when your savings rate matters most. This is when your debt either disappears or follows you into retirement. This is when your claiming age gets decided. This is when your tax strategy takes shape. This is when your flexibility either grows or vanishes. The rules still give you room to improve your position. In 2026, you can contribute up to $24,500 per year to a 401k. If you're 50 or older, you can add an $8,000 catch-up contribution per year. If you're 60 through 63, the enhanced catch-up rises to $11,250 per year. You can also contribute up to $7,500 per year to an IRA if you qualify. Those numbers are more than contribution limits. They represent opportunity. Every additional dollar saved today is one less dollar you may have to worry about finding later. The biggest advantage in retirement is not earning one extraordinary investment return. It is entering retirement with stronger savings, less debt, smarter tax planning, and more choices. That's how $500,000 becomes more than a balance on a statement. It becomes a retirement plan built to withstand the years ahead. Now it's time to answer the question that brought you here in the first place. Before retiring with $500,000, stop asking whether the balance is enough. Ask whether your monthly income can survive inflation, taxes, healthcare, market declines, and 25 or 30 years without another paycheck. That is the calculation professionals make. Before you retire, you must write down 4 numbers. The age you'll claim Social Security. The monthly income you'll actually need. The age when required minimum distributions begin. The healthcare costs you realistically expect to pay. If you cannot answer those 4 questions, you are not ready to retire. Not with $500,000, not with $5 million. The amount was never the real question. The plan is. Hope has never been a retirement strategy. Your future deserves a plan, not an assumption.